Greetings to everyone. This is Siddharth, Department of Civil Engineering from Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. Today we will see about the topic construction accidents. As given in the slide, we can clearly see that construction site accidents are very common, but they can be avoided at many of the cases because construction industry is one of the most hazardous industry, and people getting injured due to accidents are very high in this industry, and the probability of a worker getting injured is also too high. So if you clearly see, there are many factors which are going to cause accidents in your site due to your workers. It may be like the unawareness about your personal equipments, that is protective equipments, or they might not be very good in reading signs and other things like that, right? So, and the construction workers are often required to perform their task on the raised surfaces. Most of the accidents that is happening in the construction site, like nearly 85 to 90 percentage of times, it will be like people who are working on raised surfaces, right? This raised surfaces is considered as 4 feet from the ground. If typically a worker is working 4 feet above the ground, then that is called as an raised to surfaces. So here we have to be very careful because most of the accidents, 90 percentage of time, the accidents will be happening only due to this. But this can be avoided. There are many factors which you are going to see in the below upcoming slides where we will discuss about the other points. Right now we will see about the common causes of construction sites include, right? So here we will see the common causes of our construction sites, right? Lack of protective protection for workers on elevated structures. This comes first because as we have already discussed, this is going to contribute nearly 90 percentage of your accident problems or hazards or the probability, like. So you have to have proper planning and protection for your workers, particularly when they are going on elevated structures, like they may be going for painting works, plastering works on a scaffolding, right? And the second part is lack of protection for people on the ground from falling object. Most of the companies in India doesn't provide helmets to their workers, which is really disappointing for the standards to be maintained in your site. Because if you are not providing basic protection equipment for your workers, it is definitely going to affect them. Like they don't have protection gloves or their protection glasses, safety shoes. Nothing is provided in the most of the sites. So that workers are typically in endangered areas, right? The tripping hazards from construction materials and debris, particularly when you are talking about demolition work or in construction work, people used to dump materials in and around our site. So that has to be properly taken care of. Like if debris is going to be dumped in a particular area, or it may be tripping, like if you're going to dump everything in one area, that may be tending to fall down or slide, and it may be falling on some of your workers who may be working on the lower side of your area. So that has to be totally stopped. Then missing guards or protection on power tools, particularly when you are talking about electrical equipments or very heavy equipments, you should have guards or protections. Like there should be one fellow who should always take care of the equipment and let everyone aware of the particular equipment is being run or it is being in the movement. He has to take care of everything. And particularly when you're talking about electrical equipments, proper prof shock proofs must be provided, and there should be electrical engineers around that area. Then unsafe equipments, if equipment is failed, or if equipment is having more number of harmful effects like accidents, particularly on a single equipment, that has to be handled very carefully. And the unsafe equipments must not be used in your sites, right? If you are having proper safety, you can use, or else you should not use. Then lack of safety precautions while working near power lines. People don't usually take any precautions when they are working near a power line, and this has to be taken very seriously. Lack of protection for workers in trenches. This is the next part where, after working in heights, contributes most to the construction accidents. Like people working in trenches, they get more amount of probability to be trapped inside the trenches. So they have to be properly taken care. And unsafe proprietary conditions. If your proprietary conditions, like the site condition, is not good, you should not work. For example, if you are talking about monsoons, right? If your monsoon rainwater is too high, you cannot work in a site, right? There might be some potholes or other elevated structures or running water, anything can be there. So to avoid all those things, you have to take care of your proprietary conditions. In this slide, we are going to discuss about the measures that can prevent building construction site accidents. If you are able to follow these things, you might prevent your site accidents. Like first point is always utilize safety gears. So if you are going inside the site, like if you are entering into the site, you must be properly wearing all safety protection equipments, like right from your helmets to the safety shoes, your goggles, right? Safety goggles or eyewear, right? Then the safety gloves, safety jackets, everything has to be worn by you, right? So it actually prevents the workers from getting into any kind of accidents. Then the second point is maintaining your equipments. Your maintenance of your equipment has to be done on a very proper and a regular basis. If you are able to do those things, most of the equipment will not have any faulty functions during their working period, so that the workers who are handling those equipments will not be having any problem or any accidents related to that. Then the third point is your safety protocols. You should have a certain set of safety protocols in your site. Like if you are having concreting today, right? People should not be wandering around in and around the particular area. Every worker should be in the concreting area. You can have certain types of rules. For example, if you're having on painting work, every worker should be wearing a mask when they are doing painting work. So that is one kind of safety protocol. The company should have a set of rules or safety protocols to ensure that the workers are not getting into the any kind of accidents. Then schedule regular safety meeting. This is one of the most important part, and it should be regularly followed in your site. Like if you are going into site on a regular basis, after entering a line to the site, right? Every workers must be given awareness about what kind of working condition is prevailing today and how they are going to work and what work they are going to do and what are the safety precautions they have to do, they have to take particularly for that day. If this awareness is being given to them on a regular basis using the safety meeting, probably most of the accidents can be saved, can be prohibited. Then taking regular breaks. You should not force your workers to work continuously for 12 hours, 16 hours on a daily basis. You should provide them some breaks, because these breaks will have a mental relaxation for your workers, and it will be able to save your workers from your accidents. Because if people are continuously working, it might result in fatigues. Then warning signs. This is the most important part. You should keep warning signs in your site. If you are able to keep warning signs in your sites, then you will be able to reach out to your you will be able to reach out to your workers, because if the workers are able to read this warning signs, they will be not going inside this hazardous areas and other part. Then work site inspection. The next part is your work site inspection, where your inspection committee or a safety committee will regularly visit your sites and ensure that everyone are wearing their protective equipments. That kind of things can be done, or they can randomly go and ask whether the safety meeting has been conducted today and what was convened in the meeting. They can cross check it. Then provide safety training. Apart from meetings, you have to provide one safety training for your workers, right? In this trainings, people will be educated particularly about like new technology. When you're going to introduce a new machine in your site, this meetings will help them understand how the machine works and how it is going to be handled by the workers. Then the proper material storage and handling. Next part is material storage. People should be educated about storing your materials and how they are going to be handled. If you are able to educate your workers regarding this point, then most of the accidents related to that particular point can be stopped. Then the last point is your fall protection. If you really care about your workers, this is the part where we can improve our safety for our workers, because fall protection nearly accounts 90 percentage, right? So for this to be stopped, you should have a proper meeting and you should be making aware of all the safety precautions, and you have to provide all the safety things for your workers when they are particularly working on your very high raised areas. Here in this slide, we will discuss about the high risk activities that can be leading to any kind of accidents in our construction site. Here it involves a risk of a person falling more than 2 meters. If a person is falling from a height of more than 2 meters, it is considered to be a very high risk activity, and proper protection equipment should be given to the workers, right? And when you are carrying out telecommunication tower works, if you are particularly repairing or renovating or going to construct a new telecommunication tower, then that is a high risk activity. Then demolition of element of structure that is load bearing, particularly when you are talking about a load bearing structure, and if you are going for any demolition or renovation work, sorry, the demolition of element of structure that is related to physical integrity of the structure. Like if you are talking about beams and columns, if you are going to demolish one column of a particular building, that is a very high risk activity. Then disturbing the asbestos, like if you are going to disturb the top roof of any structure, that is considered as a high risk activity. Then structural alterations are repair that require temporary support to prevent collapse. Like if you are talking about repair works to a particular foundation, then that is an high risk activity. If it is carried out or in a confined space, if you are working in a confined space, then definitely that is an high risk activity, right? Then if your work is near to shaft or trench deeper than 1.5 meter or a tunnel, this 1.5 meter is a very important aspect. You have to take care of your workers. If they are working at a level of at 1.5 meter depth, then that is a very high risk activity. You have to take care of them. Then if you are using explosives for taking out the stones or other things, then that is considered as an high risk activity. Or near pressurized gas mains or pipings. If you are talking about oil pipes, other rigs, then that is an high risk activity. Then near chemical fuel refrigerator lines. Okay, then the next one is near energized electrical installations or services. If you are having electrical installations or services in your area or in your construction site, then that is considered as a high risk activity. Then if you have any containment in the atmosphere, right, if you have any containments related to any kind of chemical hazards or dust or anything, then that is considered to be a high risk activity. Then tilt up or precast concrete. If you are talking about tilt up or precast concrete, then that is a high risk activity. Or carried out or adjacent to a road, railway, shipping lane or other corridors. Like if you are taking any construction work near to another existing transportation line, then that is a very high risk activity. The main reason why we are seeing all these points in this slide is that if you are able to differentiate a normal activity from a high risk activity, you can certainly have precautionary equipments or methods to safeguard your workers from your accidents. So this is it. Thank you.